Good afternoon. It's Mark Adams here, and I am with a special guest, Officer Mashburn. She is here to give us some tips on how to stay safe during the holidays. So thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to jump right in. So one of the things I noticed that a lot more people are buying stuff online. So it seems like to me there's going to be a lot more packages delivered. Is there any way to prevent some of those packages from being taken off our porch?
Yeah, so I guess the new term that's been coined is a porch pirate, which
That's
is
right.
kind of funny. But one of the things that I was thinking about is most of the time, especially like with Amazon, if people are ordering, you always have the option, or most of the time have the option to leave instructions for a delivery person on what exactly to do with your package or whatever is being delivered. So one thing that I would recommend is that if you have the ability to do so, leave in those instructions, say something along the lines of, hey, please leave my package behind a chair. People who are looking to do quick snatch and grabs off of a porch typically want easy access. They want to get in and get out. So even having it behind a chair is a little bit more of a deterrent. That way they don't have to go move furniture and get behind it. Another thing that I would also recommend is if the homeowner feels comfortable in doing so, just having the delivery person maybe deliver to a different door. So someone might have a side door or a back door that might just be a little bit more out of plain view from the street from people who are looking to do those quick snatch and grabs.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Another thing is that I hear people asking a lot about, so they're going to be shopping out, they're going to be going to different stores and stuff. Is there any specific tips you can share on how to keep those people safe during those times? I hear, people shopping at night. I know most people are still shopping at home, but I still know people that love the tradition of going out and shopping at the stores. Are there some tips that you can share to keep them safe?
Sure. So one thing, especially if you're going out and going to a bunch of different stores during the holiday season, going Christmas shopping, going holiday shopping, a huge recommendation is just making sure, number one, you're keeping your car doors locked. That's a big thing. A lot of people sometimes will forget.
Right.
Number two is, like I said, if you're going to multiple stores, just if you can and you have a second to do so, keep all of those packages in your trunk. Out of sight, right? So, and another thing is just making sure that you're kind of aware of your surroundings. If you're going maybe at nighttime, keeping your phone away and just paying attention to where you're walking to. Another thing that I could think of is when you are going to a store from your vehicle, just locking it as soon as you get out. I know sometimes people will, walk a few yards, walk 10, 20 yards, and then lock their car. Just trying to do that as soon as you can. And then it's kind of the same thing when coming back from a store as well. So instead of unlocking your car when you're 10 or 20 yards away, unlocking it more as soon as you get right up to it.
Interesting. Another thing, when we first reached out to you, we were talking about locking your car door and locking your house. Obviously, that's smart. But you indicated in an email to us that most burglaries happen because somebody has already scoped out the house. Can you talk a little bit more about that, or why a burglar would pick one house versus the other house?
Sure. So like you mentioned, and like I had mentioned previously in our communication over email, is that houses are not typically just randomly broken into. People will scout and look beforehand just to try to get a better idea of maybe what the family or the person's schedule is. And then, of course, a really big deterrent that we would typically see, which might sound silly to a lot of people, is light. So having that really good lighting is one thing. Light deters crime. Like I said, it sounds kind of silly, but it is what it is. And then just keeping everything locked up. A lot of mindset that we sometimes see these days is it's not going to happen in my neighborhood. It's not going to happen in my backyard, kind of a thing. So, of course, we are always recommending that even if your vehicle is in your driveway, keeping your car locked, keeping valuables out of your car, and just doing as much as you can, even if it's those small things, just trying to remember to get in a good habit of doing those.
Wow, that is great. Well, Officer Mashburn, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. We would love to have you back because people are always asking us questions on how to keep their house safe. And man, it would be great for you to come back and maybe talk a little bit about what we can do in the springtime, especially when people are out in their yard and maybe they're leaving their houses unlocked. But gosh, thank you so much for your time, and we really do appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You as well.